Okay, so it's been a minute since I've recorded in the Carla B show. I don't really have an explanation why, other than to say that I have been delving into a world of spirituality in terms of just understanding exactly what it is that God wants from us. And that requires time. And also, I have taken up private life coaching again. So I've been coaching clients privately, which has taken away from my recording time. But I wanted to come up on here and share with you a really important message. Like, if you're stuck in a place in life where you're kind of thinking of the I should have this, I should have that, and today should be this, and today should be that, I want you to start switching over into a mindset of I want. And this is where new age stuff gets tricky, and we actually start to realize with how when it comes to life coaching, that new age ideologies don't work, because in new age the concept of attraction is, oh, you can't state what you want, because if you state what you want, it means you're in lack, and if you're in lack, then you don't attract it. It's such a BS. It is honestly such a BS. The new age ideologies are just meant to keep you stuck. So this is why going to a professional is so important. A professional therapist, a professional life coach, people that have been working with mental health for a very long time, have experience under their belt, not just in the learning, but in applying it to people, helping people reframe their life. So I used to think of life in this manner, right? And I've had so many clients where this has happened also, where it's like that feeling of, I should be doing this instead of that. And then you feel guilt. You feel immense guilt because you have this innate I should mentality. But the thing is, that's probably not even what you want to be doing. Because if it is what you wanted to be doing, it wouldn't be an I should. You see, that's how you know. So what is it that you want? I can pinpoint what I want. Like on a given day, I want to eat pizza. I don't want to eat salad, but I should eat a salad because it's healthier and it's going to keep my calorie intake low for the day. But you know what? Today, your girl wants pizza. So that's what I'm going to stick in my mouth. All right? A nice slice of pizza. So it's really important for us to start thinking of I want instead of I should. Another example when it comes to life, like, what are the changes you want? Do you want a more calmer morning, a more relaxed daily routine or daily dynamic? I want my day to be more calm. Then what am I going to do to get what I want? When we can pinpoint what we want, we are more objective, we are more detail oriented, and we understand that getting it is actually easier because you're not questioning yourself so much because you know what you want. Now, this doesn't mean, of course, oh, I want, something expensive, go get it. I'm not talking about things. I'm talking about in how you see your life and how you live your daily routines, because that's what makes up the construct of your life, your routines, which, by the way, routines are not bad. Routines give a sense of security, they give a sense of stability, and they also help you know when and where you can or may want to be spontaneous. If you don't have a routine and spontaneity is all you have, then technically speaking, spontaneity is your routine. So everybody has routines. It's just they're visualizing it and defining it differently. The same goes for this whole concept of I should versus I want. It's a way of understanding how motivation is for you. Because yes, motivation can be a flame that lights the fire, but you need discipline. Wonderful. But how do you get there? Not everybody is at a stage where they can understand that you get to discipline and then that's it, that becomes you. You have to start reframing it in your brain from the I should to the I want. I don't want to, I don't want to do this. There isn't anything in your life that you don't want to do, that your spirit won't tell you in your mind, we don't want to do this. And if that's the case, listen to that. Start listening to that. Maybe start restructuring your day. Just your day. I'm not saying your life, your day. Restructure one day around the I wants that you have for that day. You know, I want to have an extra Starbucks coffee. I want to have lunch from this place. If it's not from this place, then I'm going to get it for dinner because I want to taste this today. What is the point of doing this? Is this selfish? Not necessarily. You're not really being selfish because in your I want journey, you might share it with somebody, but you're not being selfish. You're actually taking care of yourself. You're taking care of yourself and your needs. See, in culture, we're so grabbed into the mindset of I should. What should you be doing? Should you be doing this right now? Should you be in the hallway? Should you be online shopping? Should you be talking about this with other people? I should be doing this. I should be doing that. I shouldn't be, wasting another day. I should go to the gym every day, or I should spend more time with my family. I should this and I should that. For every I should you have in your mind, I want you to transform it to an I want. So you can pinpoint exactly what it is that you want instead of that I should. I've applied this strategy several times before and it seems to have wonderful effects. I definitely use it myself. It is the way to become authentic. The way to being authentic is not attracting and manifesting and doing all this crap that New Age tries to convince you could do. Yes, energy is important, but not in the way that the New Age is trying to make people believe that energy is important, which, by the way, is not energy, it's your spirit. But New Age is using energy just to make it sound more scientific, when the reality is it's your spirit, and your spirit has, a divine connection to what created everything, which for me, I heavily believe it's God. So it's time that people wake up and start to realize that in following the I want, you're actually probably, not just actually, but probably going to end up doing what is spiritually the best option for you. Because your spirit's not going to want you to be involved in something that does not speak to it, that does not resonate with it, that does not give you peace. Usually in establishing what you want and actually getting that what you want done, or pursuing it, or eating the pizza, you do feel peace. Why? Because you've satisfied something that you want. You've satisfied a desire that you want. And when I say satisfy a desire, I'm not talking about desires that are related to lustful things. I'm talking about a desire that's related to how you live your daily life. If your goal is peace, it's time that you start listening to the I wants that you have as opposed to the I should. And maybe it's time to have those difficult or hard conversations, which are really not hard or difficult because you're just admitting what it is that you want and what it is that you like and who it is that you are to people around you. If those conversations are difficult, then maybe those are the wrong people. Those are not the people that should be around you. If you're able to talk about the wholeheartedly topics, or the valuable topics that lie within you of your I want, then you are with the right people, And sometimes it's also not the people that matter, because you will get to a point where you become so authentic, you can be yourself very easily without offending anybody. And people start to see you as kind of like a water. Like it's just easy for them to be themselves around you as well. Why? Because you don't just promote a concept of I want, you live that way. You live that way, and you don't have a problem living that way because you're doing it out of the intention and with the goal of having peace at the end of your day. I tend to like to start my day this way. I do imagine how I want my day to end. And if I want my day to end in peace, I want to feel good. I want to feel like I've actually done something that's not just productive, because, producing for a job is not the most important thing. It's not really why you're here. It's a function you're serving, but it's not really why you're here. I want to end my day feeling at peace with those that I love, but also feeling at peace with myself, because I also love myself. And to be at peace with myself means I can't deny how I feel, how I think, how I see things, and what I wish for others. I can't deny that simply because it doesn't benefit me. See, the moment that you take, you know, yourself out of that equation of I should, things do become clearer when you start to think in terms of what I want. What is it that I want? Who do I want to be? How do I want to be on a regular basis? Okay, I want to be a considerate, compassionate, peaceful, a more chill person, someone that actually tries new things regardless of fear. Well, then find something that you want to do that's going to get you to complete one of those items on that list. Because everything that you want to do deep within, at least within your spirit, fulfills those things that you want to be. As much as people sometimes say, no, it doesn't. Yes, it does. It's just that our concepts and our definitions of words and ideas are so messed up by culture that we only define them and understand them the way culture has it. But the reality and the truth is that you can redefine things all the time, anytime. You know, I used to think that you needed motivation to get things done. Now I understand that according to the season of life you're in, motivation has a different definition. Motivation has a different point of understanding. What I understood as motivation in my 20s, in my 40s, I understand differently. So, sorry, I suffer from a runny nose and it's really cold. This is my classroom. I understand now that motivation requires different understandings depending on what phase and season of life you're in, regardless of age. So it's about what's happening around you. So that definitely helped take the guilt off a lot, not just for me, but even the clients I've coached. So you have to kind of look and assess at what your life and where your life is at and see if motivation means the same thing to you now that it did then. We often are confronted with the culture's definition of what motivation is, and if we don't identify with that or we don't see that happening, we think we don't have it. The truth is, you do. Go to your list of what you want. Your I wants are your motivation. Do one of those things. Fulfill one of those items. You know, why is this important? What does this have to do with anything? Well, we're all striving to be ourselves. I don't think that people are really depressed and disappointed because they don't get approval from a mom, a dad, or from someone else. I think people live disappointed because they don't get approval from themselves to themselves. A lot of times we use the excuse of like, you know, I do anything from my mom to be more proud of me and approve of me, or my dad to accept me the way I am. No, I really don't think that that's what it is. That's an excuse that honestly our mind uses to keep us stuck in the I should, and to keep us stuck in the regret of the past moves we made. I think what is really necessary is approval with yourself. Because approval with yourself will allow you to be comfortable even with that parent that doesn't fully accept you for who you are and how you are. You'll have the grace to still love them and have a relationship with them, and it will not impact you in a negative way, you know, because you understand that there's some boundaries that should be in place, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you love them less. That doesn't mean you'll be there for them less. That has nothing to do with that. That doesn't mean that they're cut from the family either. It's just, you know, structures, mental structures you build in order to protect your approval of self. And how do we reach approving ourselves? By looking at the list of I want. I want my mom to approve of me more. Why? Because I want to be admired for this and this and that. See, this is my list of I wants, as an example, right? Well, why can't I admire myself for those things already? Like, why do I need my mom to admire? Like, if you were created that way, and it's not a mistake, then why can't you already appreciate and admire yourself? Why do you need another person to do that? Like, what? Again, approval of others is wonderful to have, but when it doesn't exist, we need to stop using it as an excuse to stay stuck in regret, in melancholy, in disappointment. Hey, it happens. Other people, you know, some people like Volkswagen, some people like Mercedes. Some people like McLarens. Some people like Bugattis. Not everybody likes the same exact thing. Not everybody approves of the same exact style. Like, I always hated minivans. Even as a mom, I will never drive one. I don't care what happens. I'm not a minivan person. That doesn't mean I don't admire a good minivan for another person. I don't like it for myself. So again, if my parent likes minivans, for instance, and I don't, I'm only into sports cars, and I have a baby and I have a sports car, is my parent going to probably say something about that? Of course they are. They're not going to approve of me having a sports car. It's going to be a line of contention between us. Am I going to allow that to affect my relationship with my parent? If I'm spiritually ignorant, yes. We're going to argue about all those differences because I just want them to approve of me, approve of what I like, approve. For what? That's not in their scope of preferences, so they will not approve of it. It's not personal. Let's stop taking those things so personal. And again, that goes back to looking at your list of I want. I want a good relationship with my family. That's more valuable to me than their approval on certain aspects of my life. Then what am I going to do to have that? When you start looking at your life and analyzing it from the perspective of I want what I want as an outcome, and you start to mold, merge, alter yourself in order to make that happen, guess what? It's very unlikely that you're going to fail, because your goal is not connected to another person. Your goal is connected to fulfilling the objective of being better yourself, which is solely dependent on you. You're accountable for that. So do you see how the new age will make you kind of believe that, if you don't follow certain things or do certain, activities or have a certain way of thinking, you don't attract things because you're negative, you're thinking negative, or like don't care about other people's approval, just cut them off. Like literally I've been watching different new age influencers, people in culture that are connected to new age practices, and it's very much of like, oh, set boundaries, and if you have to cut a relationship with people who are toxic, then do that. It doesn't matter if they're your mom or your dad. Listen, they may be toxic and you might have to set boundaries, but as far as cutting people out of your life because they just don't approve of what you're doing, I just don't see the point of that when we're discussing, family. Family doesn't stop being your family. And yet, they could be toxic and you may have to cut them out. But to be very honest, the finger's still going to point back at you. Well, what do you want to do with that? What is the outcome you want from that? Well, I would want that to not exist, let's say, right? I want that person in my family to not be so annoying. You can't change that person. You can't control or manipulate them. What can you do? Hey, let me shift, how I interact with them. Let me shift the conversation when they're around. Let me practice something different as opposed to just looking at them as enemy territory. Again, that's what I want. I want to not feel like I'm looking at a person like they're coming from enemy territory if they're in my family. Now, if they still respond negatively, okay, so be it. But I'm at peace because at least I attempted something different. And what's the point of that if you still deal with those people? Well, sometimes the point is not to get rid of a person in your life. Sometimes the point is not to change all aspects of your life. Sometimes the point is just to reframe how you approach it so that it doesn't aggravate you, stress you out, or cause you anxiety anymore. Okay? You can't cancel things from your life. Not everything can be canceled and taken out and pack up and move. If you are the same person, you're going to take those same patterns to the same place, just with different people and different address. So it starts by shifting yourself, changing yourself, but not changing yourself in terms of appearance, in terms of how you do, your coffee. It's changing your mind, how you think of things. Don't be so stuck in your thoughts that you don't allow any kind of new versions to come in. And the new versions that come in shouldn't be confusing. That's why looking at the list of I want is better than list of I should. Because if you make a list of I should, you probably have 100 items on that list. But a list of I want, maybe there's 5 things you want to target. Target those. Focus on those. And why is that? So that we don't walk around as a bunch of entitled people. Because when you stem from a mindset of I should, you actually start living and existing as a very entitled person, because then you believe that the world should give you something back to you. Others should behave a certain way with you. Others should have the right, I don't know, or others should treat you better. Or like this lady in the morning when I was in traffic, she felt because maybe it was every other car was letting another car pass, that every car should do that. So I should just cut this person and not even acknowledge or wave at them or make a sign at them. Well, what if I wasn't paying attention? I literally would have smashed her car because I wasn't expecting that. Why would that be an issue? Because she's stemming from a mindset of entitlement. Why? Because people live with a mindset of I should. I should be on time. I should be early. I should drop them off by this specific time. I should this, I should that. You can't fulfill a bunch of I shoulds. You can't fulfill lists of should. You can only fulfill lists of want. And lists of want tend to be very short. Why? Because your mind already knows how much you can do in a given hour, day, week. It's not going to lie to you. But a list of I should is going to make it seem like you could do 20 events in a week, 100 things in your to-do list from work. And you can also, maybe drive around and pick up your kids also 10 additional times that week, because that's what you should be doing, because that's, it's what needs to get done. So you should be available for all of that and you should get it done. But what do you want to do? Well, I just want to do this one today and that tomorrow, and that's it. You see, very easy. Like when you look at a list, you can kind of see in that list what you want. It almost gets highlighted for you. So start thinking from a mindset of I want and stop thinking from a mindset of I should, please. Okay? The point of that is not just to get more authentic, but it's also to become more humble. You want to stem away from entitlement because it's something that you hate or something that you dislike in others, then you need to think in terms of I want. How do I want to be treated? I want to be treated with some respect. So you know what? If I'm going to cut someone in traffic, I'm going to signal to them and see if it's okay for them to let me pass in front of them. I'm not just going to pass in front of them, put my car in front of them without them acknowledging it. And it could possibly cause an accident. Because guess what? That person, like if somebody does that to you in traffic and you hit them from behind, it's your fault. You're the one that hit them from behind. Meanwhile, they're the ones that were cutting you. Do you see how entitlement causes a problem? And you could say, well, just be aware. Just be aware when you're driving. It's not about the driving, guys. It's about understanding that people stem from a mentality of entitlement because they live off of a list of I should. And anytime you live off of a list of I should, you're only going to nurture that entitlement more. You're only going to model that more for people around you. And it does cause problems, because if I didn't think the way that I think, I would have pressed on my gas and kept going and pretended I didn't see anything. Or I just wouldn't have been aware, But the fact that I'm aware that people are stemming from a concept and a mindset of entitlement and I tend to be more vigilant simply because of that. And when it happens, it doesn't surprise me. My understanding is more flexible also because of that. Why? Because your humility becomes very on point and very easy to access. So that is my lesson to you. Hopefully it helps somebody today. It's almost 30 minutes of, how to achieve a more authentic self by going from I should to I want. And what are the benefits of that? Well, you go from, being entitled to being more humble and compassionate and more authentic with yourself, more satisfied with who you are. Because the goal about being a kind person is not so much about being kind just to be kind to show off that you're kind. It started as a good message, but people are taking it as a way to show off. Like, look at me, I'm kind, I'm doing these things, I'm so kind, look at me. No, being kind is about when you end your day, you feeling good with yourself because you know that that's who you are. The same thing with working out. The same thing with life changes related to trying to get healthier. It's not about showing it off. It's about you're doing it because at the end of the day, you want to feel good with yourself. Showing it off feels great, yes. The results are great. We should show off the results. But you're really doing it for you and solely you. So keep that in mind. And not everyone is on that same journey. So don't be looking at other people's lists of I should and I want. Focus just on yours. It becomes a lot easier. And then you know what? You do end up living in a world that you want. And your life does become a reflection of what you want and who you are. Why? Because you are stemming from that list of I want. I want to be in a more loving world. Well, how can I have that? Let me be a more loving person. Understanding. Slow to anger and quick to fix a problem. When you do that, life just becomes easier. And you don't wrinkle as much. I mean, I could attest to that at 43. So, hey. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this message. Hit me up. You can find me at carla.barandas on Instagram. I'm going to put the information on the show more section. Or you can comment on this video or go for my information on my YouTube channel and email me. A lot of you have gotten in touch. I've gotten some new clients as a result of this channel, which has been great, but I'm a one-woman show, so it's been kind of hard to keep up. So my apologies that you haven't seen me for a while. But I promise that when I do post something, at least it will be something that will be definitely useful for you. Plus, I've heard from a lot of you that you like hearing my voice regardless, so mad love to all of you out there. Thank you so much for being a part of my channel, and if you are getting this for the first time, please subscribe and definitely like this video. Let me know what your thoughts are, and do you have anything else that you think I should talk about in relationship to the topic of I should versus I want? What is in your I want list? I invite you to make that list for yourself today and stop looking at what you should be doing and start looking at what you want to be doing. Why? Because the goal is to get you to be a more authentic person and to get you to want the right things so that your life is a reflection of all the things that you want it to be. Thank you so much for joining me.